In the 17th century, Irish Catholics were forced west of the River Shannon under Cromwell's rule. The land was poor, barren and unforgiving. To hell or to Connacht, they said. It was a phrase I heard often during my years at Connacht Rugby, not as history alone, but as something still woven into the culture and community of the west of Ireland. A kind of deep-rooted resilience that's hard to explain until you've experienced it. The ability to endure, a quiet strength to keep moving forward, to do hard things because there's no real alternative. This journey wasn't about the past, it was about a place and its people who still carry that spirit today. I'm here in Galway at my former rugby club, Connacht Rugby, and I'm about to embark on a 650km lap of all 5 counties: Galway, Mayo, Sligo, Leitrim and Roscommon. My family are from Connacht and I lived here for over 3 years when I was playing rugby here, and I very quickly realised there was something pretty unquantifiable about the west of Ireland and its people. Despite its beauty, it's not the easiest place in the world to live at times, and despite professional rugby being the best job in the world, it also has extreme peaks and extreme troughs. As I make my way through the province over the next week, I want to explore the resilience of the people of Connacht and how the landscape and the history have shaped the culture and the mindset of the people here. I also want to delve into my own experience of hardships. I'm a big believer that doing hard things is good for you, whether they're voluntary or involuntary. Tackle Your Feelings is a mental wellbeing campaign run by Rugby Players Ireland to help people like myself and the youth of today, give them the tools to deal with darker days. They were someone I leant on massively when I lived here. So strap yourself in, it's March in Ireland, so expect some authentic wind and rain. I've had 4 shots of coffee and a homemade sandwich. Let's do this. Day 1 was a short afternoon leaving the Dexcom Stadium. An easy 45km dash out of Galway, minus the wild Atlantic winds trying to blow me off the bike. I was heading for Carrow in Connemara where my friend Owen, who still plays for Connacht, lives. Carrow is in the Gaeltacht, a region whose primary language is still Gaelic. I spoke to Owen about what it means to be from a place so rich in culture with such a strong community.
It's Misha on the Butler. It's as in Carrow, it's a good line of Galway. Agus, Iar na héide, is choláirtá na riide agus tágann se ón tíreach an áit agus ó daoine na háite chumá. Gan daoine na háite níbh chéanaar daing agus gan daoine na háite níbh mar se snáite táma fiáil. San náite táma de se den dólíine agus tras an airge sin an tráháin agus sa saoire gas saoir nar bhí mó lelí na bhí sé fásus te. Bheadh siad a snámh seo trasna go dtíon tráháin agus is go bin a chreic a bhí acu is ag an am níor mar an eile duna típal se agus is go bin a cinál a chrá daoine na háite. The people where you're from are so proud of you. I bump into people and stuff who know nothing about rugby. Anything you do, they're just really supportive. The people from this place, like from the West of Ireland, are just the best people in the world.
By the time we finished filming last night, it was pretty late and I was welcomed into the lovely De Butler household. It was either stay in the hay bales, in the barn, or in a bed with a fire, so I took the small wins whilst I could. Well rested, well fed. Let's do this. Okay, sports fans, today's the start of like the first proper big day. Yesterday was a little bit of a warm-up, if I'm honest. I had a really interesting chat last night with Owen and his mum, who've lived here for 25 years. We were talking about how that kind of community culture and community identity probably only exists nowadays in really, really rural areas or really inner city areas. Probably quite similar in terms of that intergenerational community. The young lads going for a pint with the old lads in the bar who are 60, 70 of a completely different generation, but a place with an identity as strong as somewhere like Carrow. That connection kind of transcends time. We're not going to use the word miserable, but it's a little bit bleak. These are the things you tend to look back on, probably learn a bit about yourself. It's probably tough at the moment. You might not particularly have enjoyed it at the time. After a while, you get the itch to do it again, because come on, it was a little bit fun. Somewhere in between doing hard things for fun and doing hard things that are just really hard. As the day went on, the weather started to turn and my legs started to hurt. I pondered over what we spoke about over dinner and how a community like this finds such strength and pride in their identity. Since finishing playing rugby, I've had a lot of time to think about life's biggest question. Who am I? When you strip it all back, what defines you as an individual? For years, the answer would have been easy. My name's Kieran Booth, I'm a professional rugby player. I'll be honest, I was a bit apprehensive about coming back here after 2 years. Would I miss it too much? Would it make me sad seeing my friends carry on living my childhood dream? So much of my identity and soul is attached to this place, so now that I don't do that anymore, who does that make me as a human being? Surely there's so much more to me than my occupation and hobbies. I put my head down and pedalled into the rain. I don't know, man. Yeah, head's doing funny things to me. I've just made it to Mayo. We're in the Killery Fjord here, which is very beautiful. I had to have a little chat with myself. I was thinking about powering on through the night to Sligo, doing 250k in a day, because I'm absolutely sopping wet. There's going to be nowhere to camp just because it's so wet on the floor, but probably not wise. I'm going to head up to Lewisburg through Duloc, and there's apparently a sauna. The morning out of Galway was filled with unrelenting wind and sideways rain. But what followed was one of the most sobering afternoons of the journey. I rode north through the Duloc Valley, where in 1849 during the Irish famine, around 400 starving people walked this same route in horrific winter conditions after failing to receive the aid they'd been promised. Many did not survive. My own day was hard, wet, on the edge of discomfort, but only for a moment. I didn't see another person for hours, and it made the contrast impossible to ignore. My suffering was voluntary and temporary. Theirs was out of desperation and ultimately fatal. It left me with a deep sense of perspective and gratitude for both the landscape and the people who endured far more than I ever will. I'm at Old Head Beach in Mayo. I managed to find a sauna on the beach. Took myself into thaw out. The rain seems to have stopped for 5 minutes, so I'm going to go try and find somewhere to camp now, but hellish day. 140 kilometres down. Hopefully tomorrow is a little bit better.
Good morning, campers. I just put all my wet clothes on again. Horrific experience putting the tent up. Everything just soaked. 2 tins of sardines for dinner.
Trick is when you're wild camping like this, 3 main things. Arrive after dark, leave before it's light, leave no trace, get out of there. Pretty beautiful spot to wake up in the morning. As I left the beach around 6:30 in the morning, I felt like a warrior in my own small world. I heard laughter from the waterfront and I came across a group of around 10 women who quickly redefined what I thought hardcore meant. Without hesitation, they stepped off the sand and into the freezing Atlantic, joking, smiling, completely unbothered by what I was still calling cold. I stood there on the edge of it all, grinning at how cool they were, and wandered over to find out what brought them here every day.
Hi, my name is Connie O'Driscoll. I live here in Lewisburg. I love coming to the sea. It's a place to, I suppose, just get some perspective before the day starts, and nothing else that you come across in the day would be as hard as hopping into the water in the freezing cold first thing in the morning.
Hi, my name is Trisha Hudson. I live here. We came to live here about 25 years ago because the West really just embraces me. I started swimming when my mother-in-law came to live with us at the age of 70. Been swimming ever since, and it has got me through so many tough times.
Hi, I'm Lorena and I'm from Spain, and I've been living in the west of Ireland for the last 20 years at least, because I like challenges. I know, really, because the beauty is unbelievable, and the roughness and the purity. We take a mint to clear our throats. I take a dip in the sea to clear my mind.
Your head?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, a little bit about me. So I came through the Sail Sharks Academy, signed a contract when I was 18, so I did 2 years full-time there. At the end of my first year, went over to play for Ireland under-20s, went to the World Cup in Argentina, got belted in the rib cage, and ruptured all 4 ligaments in my knee. So sort of 18 months out of the game, that I then moved to Connacht. That was also in the middle of lockdown. Also, I just moved in with a new partner at the time, so everything was kind of going on. I think it's only when you look back on these things and you see, geez, I was in a bit of a hole there. Fast forward 3 seasons at Connacht, I made friends for life, I started finally playing a little bit, so all things were looking up. And then one day I went into the coach's office and they said, yeah, we've got nothing for you. A little bit of a shock, to be honest. Whether I was deluded or not, I always prided myself in working pretty hard. But it was not to be. In the same 2 or 3 weeks, my relationship had ended. They say your bus is late and then 3 come at once. I moved to Jersey Reds that had just won the championship in England. I thought, great, fresh start. I've now got a new girlfriend. The season was just about to start. Everything was going great. And we got a call saying, yeah, come in, you got a meeting, lads. And it was payday. And I thought, it's not looking good. Within an hour, all the staff, all the players, see you later. We've all lost our jobs. No money, no reason why. Someone had clearly messed up big time, but that was it. Thankfully, Sail Sharks needed injury cover, so I went back and spent a season there. It was amazing, proper full circle moment, and I backed myself like you do as a sports person, knowing I can compete with these boys. But again, there was nothing for me there at the end of the year. I think just when I finally thought I'd got my break, life hits you in the face. It's a tough one to take, to be honest. You know, all your dreams not really coming to fruition. And I can say it like, all the things I said I wanted to achieve, never achieved. I always said I wanted to play 100 caps for my home club, didn't happen. And then I said I wanted to play 100 caps for Connacht. When I made that my home, didn't happen. Said I wanted to play for Ireland. Not all the things, but it's a strange feeling when something that you've spent your whole life chasing and chasing just suddenly kind of fizzles out. And it's tough to take, but if you've got something to channel your energy into, nothing's ever going to replace professional sport, really. However, if you can top the rest of your life up with things that fulfill you, your relationship, your family, your hobbies, your new job, whatever that is, you'll get pretty damn close. All of these things that I've done in the last year or 2, yes, I would chop off a finger to play rugby again, but the grass is always greener. Don't be too hard on yourself. For the last few hours of this ride, I was blessed with sunshine and a tailwind along the beautiful coast roads of Sligo as I headed for my family house in Strand Hill. I could see Not Array in the distance, always a sign that home was close. It's said to be the burial site of Queen Maeve, the legendary warrior queen of Connacht, and in that final 50k I could almost feel her pushing me on across the bay. As a kid, after the long drive from Manchester, that mountain meant we'd finally made it back to the west of Ireland for the summer. Now, years later, I was arriving the long way around, a little bit older, a little bit wearier, but under my own power. Just arrived at the family house in Sligo. 12-hour day today, 154 kilometres. Yeah. The weather was all over the shop. It was like sunny, then rainbows, then hailstorms. This is your sign that people are good people. When I arrived at the house, my neighbour, Ema, had seen my story a few days ago about please bring me coffee and biscuits. And she's left a little hamper of homemade lasagna, coffee, biscuits, eggs. What a legend. And it is exactly what I need right now. Because I've done hard things. I woke in a familiar place. I learnt to surf on this beach. My grandma's ashes are spread here. I've cried my eyes out on this path before. I feel at home. But then, I've felt at home in many places before, so what does it really mean to belong? Yeah, sense of belonging is a tough one really, because it takes time. Like it doesn't just happen overnight. I was born, raised in Manchester. My dad's family are all Irish. Mum's family are all Ukrainian. I've lived in Australia. And when I think back to where I felt I belonged the most, you know, there's nice places everywhere in the world, but it wasn't the nice places and the cool things. It was the people, those support networks that you build over time with trust and being a good person. That is that sense of belonging that I think we're all looking for, that gives purpose to your life. Life is tough, and if you don't have people to share that load with, then it can get really tough. So look out for your mates, look out for your family. That's That's all there is to it, really. Like, I'm under the impression that 99% of the people in the world are good, and although bad things happen to good people, good things happen to good people as well, and most people get what they deserve in life. You make your own luck, so. Pausing to reflect is a skill we spend very little time mastering these days. We live at a speed our ancestors could never have comprehended, and somewhere along the way it became easy to forget where your feet are and how far you've come. I used to joke with myself, inside my own head of course, that there were 6 different versions of Kieran. One my friends saw, another on the rugby pitch, one my parents knew, teachers, girlfriend, and finally the version behind closed doors that only I knew. And that one could be pretty lonely. It struck me like a breath of fresh air whilst pedalling through the forest of Leitrim that I hadn't had that thought in a very long time. The reason I now felt like I belonged was because I could completely be myself around these people, and I credit a lot of that to the people I met in Connacht. I had people to laugh with, to be vulnerable with, and most importantly, people willing to call me out when I was drifting astray. The people I met in the west of Ireland seemed unapologetically themselves in good times and bad. They had this quiet ability to cut through the noise and focus on what actually matters. I've just got to my cousins. In the spirit of adventure, I've put the tent up in the back garden. What is one piece of advice for your older self? It's a hard question. Big question. I guess mine would just be, don't become bitter and old. Stay kind and try and still find joy in the smallest things, even when your back hurts and you've been through the ringer a bit. I'm going to get some sleep. Last big push tomorrow back to Galway. Oh god. Is my eye swollen? Am I dying? We've got about 130k to go today. Weather's looking pretty bleak for the morning, then hopefully get a little bit sunnier as we get into Galway. The last day was a reminder that not all adventures look like sunrises in a foreign land or fancy flat whites in quiet cafes. Roscommon felt different, harsher somehow. A day where I was reminded you can't always think your way out of tough times. Sometimes you just gotta put your head down and get on with it. Passing through Rathcrohan, I was riding over something older than comprehension. This landscape is full of 5,000-year-old ritual sites and ring forts, once the political and ceremonial heart of the ancient kingdom of Connacht. And I was there, cycling through it, just the wind in my face and the thoughts in my head, feeling pretty insignificant. Life existed long before I got here, and it will carry on long after. The only thing you can really do is pass something forward when your turn comes. There's anti-fragility in places like this. Not just enduring hard times, but growing because of them. Connacht has always carried that same spirit. A province that was written off. A rugby team that nearly disappeared in 2003, deemed not good enough to survive. I spoke with Connacht legends Eric Elwood and Jack Carty to see what the club and the province means to them.
Not only are Connacht people very proud of where they come from, they had to be very resilient, hard-working, very gritty. Obviously, to Heller to Connacht is very much part of Connacht's history. The insinuation was obviously the land in the west of Ireland wasn't the most fertile. It was rugged, it was rocky, and it was very hard to, say, make a living, raise a family. And it was something when I was playing that we incorporated as a kind of like a brotherhood together. We were fighting against everybody. It was just a siege mentality. It wasn't a crying victim or anything like that. We wanted to rise above that, Boothie. We've come a long way, as you can see now. I use the phrase, Boothie, that, we all have a certain amount of baggage, and in all walks of life, whatever job you may have, there is stress, there is worry, there is anxiety, and we have good days and bad weeks, as I call it, or you can have bad weeks and good days. That's just life. I think the important thing is that always feel that there's someone there you can speak with. And once you can do that and you can feel you can unload some of that worry or stresses, I think that's a real positive. So
it's hard to quantify. I think you could walk into a shop in rural Galway, rural Leitrim, and you'll be met with the same warmness by that person. They treat you the same as if it was their neighbour walking in. It's a very, very unique trait that we have in the west of Ireland. The environment, like the harshness of it, has created a massive resilience amongst the people of the west of Ireland. People are aware of the past and the history of the place, and they haven't let it be a thing that has weighed them down. If anything, has enabled them to become better than the sum of the parts that they have. And I think that's what Connacht Rugby obviously is as well. So.
And just like that, I was on the road back to Galway. In biblical fashion, I was greeted by an evening sun, still fighting a brutal headwind of course, but with the finish line now in sight. Over the last few days, while exploring the hidden beauty of my province, I've been trying to figure out who the hell I am. It struck me that maybe identity isn't something you decide once and keep forever. It's something that changes as you move through life. However, there are a few words I couldn't shake. Who am I? I am someone who cares. Time is precious, and if I'm doing something, I like to do it properly, to give it everything I've got, heart and soul. In love, in life, and for a long time, in rugby. So strangely no, I wasn't sad coming back here. I was overwhelmed with gratitude that I ever got to be a part of something bigger than myself. I'm proud to call these people my friends, and comforted knowing I can still rely on them when I need to. I'm just on a different path now, and although all good things must come to an end, a piece of me will always belong in the west of Ireland. It shaped me like it has shaped so many before. That's why I'll always advocate for choosing discomfort voluntarily. So if life ever forces real hardship on you, you've already proven to yourself that you can handle it, that you've been here before, that with the right people around you, you'll be okay. The sun will rise again. Do hard things. They're good for you.